Chapter 11.5, Multiplying Integers. So let's talk about multiplication. Remember that an integer is a counting number. Positive, negative, and 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, 0, all of those counting numbers. So 3 times 2, looking at a number line, means 3 groups with 2 in each group. So if I was to use a number line and I started at 0, I would count my first group of 2, I would count my second group of 2, and I would count my third group of 2, ending up here at 6. Everyone knows that 3 times 2 equals 6. Cool. But what about 3 times negative 2? So that means 3 groups with negative 2 in each group. So if I have negative 2, I'm not moving to the right down my number line. I'm not increasing, I'm decreasing. So I'm going to have negative 2, negative 4, and end up finally at negative 6. So 3 times negative 2 equals, not less than, equals negative 6. So let's kind of talk about some rules here when I multiply integers. The product of 2 integers with the same sign is always positive. So a positive times a positive equals a positive. We saw that up here in this example. A negative, we'll come back to that. A positive times a negative equals a negative number. Negative. And we saw that here in this example. 3 times negative 2 equals negative 6. But what about if they have the same signs? Well, if I have negative 3 times negative 2, that's like the opposite of 3 groups of negative 2. So it's the opposite of this one. If I have negative 3 groups, I would have the opposite. So, come over here. The product of 2 integers with the same sign is positive. That means that a negative times a negative equals a positive. So this you just need to memorize. You need to know that a positive times a positive equals a positive. A negative times a negative also equals a positive, but a positive times a negative equals a negative. So let's take a look at our examples. Now, while the example does ask you to use a number line, if you don't feel you need to, you don't have to use a number line. What you do have to do is write the original problem. Don't be lazy about that. So 4 times negative 3. I'm going to write the original problem. 4 times negative 3. Well, 4 times 3 is 12. But I have a positive times a negative, so therefore my answer will be negative. So 4 times 3 is negative 12. If I did use a number line for that, it would look something like this. Negative 15. Okay, so I'm going to count by 3s on my number line. So if I start, this is 0. It's not a very good one, sorry. If I start here at 0, I'm going to go 4 groups of negative 3. So there's one group of negative 3, 2 groups of negative 3, 3 groups of -3, and 4 groups of -3. So using a number line, my answer is -12. All right, example 2. Find -5 times -6. Write the original problem, -5 times -6. Well, 5 times 6 is 30. Both numbers are negative, and a negative times a negative is a positive. So my answer is just 30. That's it. All right, example 3. A skydiver falls 56 meters each second. The skydiver waits 8 seconds before opening her parachute. Use an integer to express the change in the skydiver's elevation. So, here is my key word. Falls. The skydiver is falling. If you think back to 11.4, where we talked about change in elevation, we had sea level. That was 0. Anything above sea level, here's my little mountain, was positive when I was moving up. However, this skydiver here, she is taking a tumble. Whee! Okay, it's a really bad parachute. She is falling. And anytime you fall, you are decreasing your elevation, so her fall is negative. So we have -56 meters per second times 8 seconds. So if I come over here, 56 times 8, 6 times 8 is 48. 8 times 5 is 40. 1, 2, 3, 444. So 440, well, 8. Look, it's an 8. Now, negative times a positive, it is a negative. So she has fallen, or her change in elevation is negative 448 feet. That means from the time she jumped out of the plane until she opened her parachute, she fell 448 feet closer to the earth. Okay, that's it for examples. Come see me if you have any questions. Complete your QCs and your CYUs.